anything about one of the quiz problems that we need to look at. And while I'm going over these, there weren't very many perfect papers. There were a few, but not very many. So I want everybody quiet and paying attention. Ethan Coffin. 9. It says expand. That means pull it apart. So instead of having one logarithm, we're going to pull it apart so that there are a bunch of them. Okay? Now, in order to pull it apart, you have to pay attention to what's going on between the letters. Right? So we'll say the log of the first one, the log of the second one, the log of the third one. Now, what's going to happen to these two logs? Since that's a multiplication problem, what's going to happen? It's an add. What's going to happen here, because that's a division problem? That's the answer to the question. That's all you had to do. Do you need to pass the resource? That's all you had to do. Okay? All right. Anybody else have a question about the quiz problem? Anybody else? Katie? 12. Now, the first thing that we have to take care of is this guy. What does a coefficient out in front of a logarithm represent? An exponent. So this is going to become the log base 5 of 16. How did I get 16? 4 squared. Now plus the log base 5 of x equals 2. Now see these two logarithms right here? They are added together. It's the backwards of this. These are added together. So what does that mean? They're going to be multiplied. So that becomes the log base 5 of 16x. These two get squished together so that now there's only one logarithm instead of 2. Now where do we go from here? You got to do the translation thing, or the flippy thing, whatever you want to talk, however you want to refer to it. We're going to translate this 5 to the second equals 16x. So 25 equals 16x, and x equals 25 16ths. Okay? Anything else from this 36-point quiz? Big quiz. Anything else? Okay. Then let's get out practice test 2. I know 1 was due today. But I want to go through the word problems on practice test 2, because that's what our quiz tomorrow is over. So we're going to set these up and work them out today. Okay, number 8, here we go. I'm on practice test 2. Everybody with me? Well, we will tomorrow if we are all here. All right, what interest rate is required to double an investment in 11 years if the interest is compounded monthly? Okay, now wait a minute. We're going to double an investment in 11 years if the interest is compounded monthly. Which formula? PERT or the other one?
Other.
The other one. In a money problem, listen to me. In a money problem, this is a money problem, you will only use PERT if it says what? Compounded continuously. If it does not say compounded continuously, then you don't use PERT if it's a money problem. The only money problem that you use PERT says continuously. This one says monthly, so it's not PERT, it's the other one. We want you double an investment in 11 years. Now, what does double an investment mean?
That means you take it and then you add it by itself.
Okay, which means whatever amount I start with, I'm going to end up with twice that much?
Yep.
So how much do you want to start with? It doesn't matter. Pick a number.
$100.
$100. If we start with $100, then we're going to end up with $200. They didn't tell me how much to start with, so I get to make it up. And it doesn't matter as long as I end up with twice that. It says, what is the interest rate? I'm looking for R. I don't know what that is.
It's compounded monthly.
So N is 12. And T is 11. Okay? Now, I'm going to go ahead and multiply 12 times 11, so I only have one exponent up there. I'm going to multiply those. What is that? 132. Now, what's step one? Divide by 100. Absolutely. We always got to get rid of this extra number. So we're going to divide by 100, and wonderfully, that just works out to be 2, right? Now, are we going to use logarithms? No. No, 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 no. When do we use logarithms? When the variable is the exponent. Is the variable in the exponent? No. This is a kind of a weird problem. You need to get rid of that 132 there. So what we are going to do is we are going to raise both sides to the 1 over 132 power.
Okay.
Now, the reason I'm doing that is so that I can get rid of this power.
I got you.
Do you see what's going to happen here? Aren't these going to cancel out?
Yeah.
And so I'm going to have 1 plus r over 12 equal to this. So I'm going to need my calculator. And I'm going to type, how do I put this in? I'm going to type 2 raised to the parentheses 1 divided by 132 power. So 2 raised to the parentheses 1 divided by 132. Did you get 1.005? Something like that? All right, let's try it again. Let's make sure everybody's getting it. Type 2, little caret thing, parentheses, 1 divided by 132. So I have 1.005264926 equal to 1 plus r over 12. That's what I have so far. So now what do I need to do? I need to take the number on my calculator and do what? Subtract. Do I need to subtract 1? And then what do I need to do? Times by 12. So the interest rate works out to be 0.063, which is about 6.3%.
I was away from 25 seconds. I was back,
Okay, so we raised both sides to the 1 over 132 to get rid of that power.
okay.
Got that answer, subtracted 1, and times by 12.
Okay, see, then I see that.
No, this was what I typed in on my calculator.
Okay. All right, see, now which,
So we subtract 1 and times by 12.
that much more. You know, you doing all this.
All right, let's look at the next one.
See, the thing is about this, Miss Cora, I can honestly see me, you know, growing up, going through life. You know what they're gonna say? Bruh, you want this job? And I'll be like, yeah, I want that job. And they're gonna sign this piece of paper. It's gonna say, what interest rate is required to double investment in 11 years?
And you'll
I'm gonna
get
be
the
like,
job.
this is McDonald's. But I'm gonna answer this question for you.
All right.
And I feel as though I can only blame you for my success.
How much will be in the account at the end of 12 years if $10,000 is invested at 2.175% compounded quarterly? All right, here we go again. We are compounded quarterly. Which formula?
A equals B parentheses 1 plus R over N parentheses.
This one, exactly. We're going to use that formula again. All right, so what am I going to put where? Where does the 10,000 go?
In the P spot.
In the P spot. Where does the 2.175 go?
R.
But it goes in as 0.02175. What's N? 4. What's T? 12. A is what I'm solving for. This one's a lot easier.
Wait, why would it be 4?
I'm just going to take 10,000 times 1 plus 0.02175 divided by 4 and raise it to the 48th power. So we typed in one of these the other day, exactly like this. Let's do this parentheses first. So I'm going to type 1 plus 0.02175 divided by 4 equals. So just type this right here into your calculator and hit equals. Then what do you need to do with that number? Once you get that typed in, you need to
Raise it to the 48.
raise it to the 48. So just hit this button, 48, raise it to the 48.
1.2.
And then what do you have to do with it?
Multiply it by 10,000.
Multiply it by 10,000. So I got $12,973.10.
Mrs. Ford, are we going to have a really hard one like the one on the top?
Not on your quiz. Okay, now we have number C, letter C. Here we go. What is the growth constant for logarithmites if a population of 432 grows into 987 in 15 hours? Okay, wait a second. What formula?
PERT.
PERT. Anytime it's not money, it's PERT. If it's not money, it's PERT. Where do I put the 432? P. Where do I put the 987? A. How does that look to you?
Like we're going to have to do a logarithm.
Now, look at where the variable is.
Logarithm.
This is going to be a logarithm. We're going to use an ln in this problem, but not in step 1. What's step 1? Divide. We always divide first. Now I'm going to ln both sides. And I am super excited because when I ln, what happens over here? That's gone, and we're left with 15R. So how am I going to get my answer, you guys? I'm going to take whatever this is and divide it by 15. So let's see if we can type that in.
.1523114.
Okay, let's see if you're right. LN 987.
I learned more story.
Rate.
Wrong that
So
Friday.
to move the decimal
What'd you say it was?
over. .1523148.
Okay, I didn't get that, so let me try again. You try again too. Let's take LN 987 divided by 432. Close your parentheses and then
I got
divide it by-
.055.
That's what I got too.
I forgot my LN.
55?
So was it 5?
So you can either answer as .055, or you could say that is 5.5%. You can answer either way you want. All right, now while we are right here with our calculators, let's go ahead and do problem 7, because problem 7 also uses a calculator. So tell me how you think we should start
Well,
that problem.
You put 5 over in the
What did someone say?
put the exponent by like the log.
We're going to say
Like x log.
5 to the x equals 10. We are going to rewrite this problem as 5 to the x equals 10. Okay? Now, where's my variable?
And the exponent.
So I'm going to take the logarithm of both sides. What will happen to the exponent when I do that?
Move to the front.
It moves to the front. How will I get the answer to the question? X equals log 10 divided by log 5. And I'm very careful when I put that in to close all my parentheses. So log 10 divided by log 5. Did you get 1.4307?
This one.
Yes,
Is the reason why you have to do that because 10 is not a, like,
exactly. Exactly. If this had been like a 25, I'd have been all set. But there's no way to get a common base between 5. You can't take 10 isn't 5 to a power. Very good observation, Maya. Okay, how about B? What's step 1 in B?
Divide by 3.
Divide, absolutely. We're going to divide first. Now, when I divide, I get this. Now, to go back to Maya's point, you had a question that looked exactly like this on your quiz. The difference was this worked out to be like a 4. And if that comes out to be a 4, we're all set, right? It didn't come out to be a 4 this time. It came out to be a 5. Is there a common base between 2 and 5?
No.
No. So what are we going to have to do?
Log it.
Log both sides. That's exactly right. Karen, what are you doing?
My mom texted me, so it was.
oh, is that your excuse against your pitching girls? Yeah?
Okay, what do we do? What do we do now?
The x in front.
Pull the X out in front. And then we'll divide again. These two problems are a lot alike. They look different in the beginning, but they end up being very similar, don't they? I got 2.322. Tell me what you got. Is that what everybody got? Okay, one more, and then we'll look at the no calculator ones. Kind of the same problem here. How are we gonna start? Divide? Okay, now. What do you think we should do now? ln both sides? What happens over here?
It goes out.
So we're left with 0.13x equal to ln 12/5. So we'll get x by simply taking ln 12/5 and dividing it by 0.13. I got 6.7344. Oh, it said round to the nearest thousand. All right, we good on that part? Okay, let's go back to the no calculator part. At the beginning, we'll just start on page 1. Here we go. We're going to crank through as much as we can. Don't have much time left. All right, consider this function. What, or is this a growth or decay problem? It's a decay problem. And how do we know it's decay, Bryce? This number right here is less than 1. Therefore, we're decaying. How much less than 1 is it? 39.39. So this is a 39% decay problem. We know it's decay because this is less than 1. We know it's 39% because it's 0.39 less than 1. What is the initial value? 0.82. This is the initial value right there, 0.82. Number 2, we have not done this in a while. We probably need some review here. An exponential function is this. They have given you 2 points. Which one do we start with? The one with the 0. So I'll say 1/2, this is x and this is y. So 1/2 equals ab to the 0. This will happen every time. What's b to the 0? 1. So 1/2 equals a. A equals 1/2. That happens every single time. So some of you, remember, skip that step, which is fine. If you know that's a 1/2 with the 0, then you know you're going to have a 1/2 there in the a spot. Now we'll take this point. 81/2 equals 1/2 b to the 4th. Now you need to solve that. So first thing maybe times by 2. And what happens when you times by 2? What do you get? B to the 4th equals 81. What is the 4th root of 81? 3. So your answer is y equals 1/2 times 3 to the x. And remember, we don't combine the 1/2 and the 3. Remember doing those a long time ago? All right, 3A, 81 to the negative 3/4. What does that mean? That means 1 over 81 to the 3/4, right? Remember, negative exponents mean 1 over. What does a fractional exponent mean? It means a radical. What root am I taking? The fourth, and I'm cubing it. What's the fourth root of 81? 3 cubed. So my answer is 127. B, 2 to the negative third.
I got it.
2 to the negative third. It's a negative exponent. What does that mean?
1 over.
1 over. So 1 over 2 cubed is?
1/8.
1/8. 16/9 to the negative second. It's a negative exponent. It's going to flip that fraction. Now, how do we square a fraction? We square the top and the bottom. So 81 over 256 is your answer. Letter D, I'm not even going to write down. You should be able to look at D and answer it.
-6.
-6. Because log base E of e to a power is just the power. Gibran? E, log base 5 of 25. Now you can do this a couple of different ways. Is there any special relationship between 5 and 25? So you really have the log base 5 of 5 squared, which is 2. You can also do it this way, though, if this makes more sense to you. You can say 5 to what power is 25? 5 to what power is 25? Doesn't that have to be 2? So either way, you're going to get 2. It's just which way makes most sense to you. Look at F. All right, lots of messing around here to do. How would you like to begin? Square everything. All right, so we're going to leave everything where it is. We're just going to square it. So that would be 9. X to the what power? Very good. -6, y to the 4th. 16, x to the -8, y squared. There's where we are. We squared everything. When you square an existing exponent, when you have a double power, you multiply those, remember. You multiply. All right, now what has to be done? We got to move the negative things around. So this guy's going to the top. So x to the 8th on top and x to the 6th on the bottom. Kids, remember, negative exponents switch places. So if it's on the bottom, it goes to the top. If it's on the top, it goes to the bottom. Does anything cancel?
Yes.
You've got x's that cancel, and you have y's that cancel. Who has more x's, the top or the bottom? How many more? So you have x to the 2nd on the top. Who has more y's? How many more? 2. So you have y to the 2nd on top, and there's your answer. Now you may have gone through a different set of steps, and that's fine, but this is the answer you need to come out with. G, I'm not even going to write down. That's a property, you need to know it. The answer is 12. Period. Move on. No work. The answer is 12. H. this logarithm does not have a base. Or does it? It's 10. So this is the log base 10 of 1/10. Now, a couple ways to do this. 1 over would indicate that you have what kind of an exponent? So this is the log base 10 of 10 to the negative first. What's the answer? Negative 1. So that's one way to do the problem, is to recognize 1 over means 10 to the negative first. Okay, your homework is to finish practice test 2. On Wednesday, we will have time to go back and answer any questions you have on any of the practice tests. Homework tonight, finish number 2. Bring a calculator tomorrow, math league tomorrow. Oh, wait a minute, one more quick thing. For those of you who are interested and able, this Thursday night, from 6:30 to 8, I will be going through the exam review sheets. Thursday night, 6:30 to 8, in this room. It is totally optional. It will be videotaped and available on tape. But Thursday night, if you're interested in face-to-face review.